It is February 2022, and it is a beautiful day outside of Tucson, Arizona. I'll keep this short and sweet. My truck, the 1991 Land Rover Defender high-cap pickup, is in the shop this week getting serviced. It's nothing major, it's just getting a little bit more maintenance to prepare it for adventure. Since I don't have my wheels this week and I'm cooped up in the van, I thought this would be a good opportunity to take a look back at some more memorable experiences. I asked myself, since I started traveling, what were some of the greatest and most memorable camping destinations? Cape Lookout National Seashore in the Outer Banks of North Carolina is actually one of my favorite beach camping destinations on the East Coast. The island is only accessible by ferry, and once you're there, you have access to miles and miles of pristine beaches on which to camp. This footage that you're looking at now actually predates my video production venture forward by about a year. So I don't have an official episode based on Cape Lookout, but I would love to go back. The weather here can be violent and unpredictable, especially during hurricane season, so you're going to want to keep a very close eye on the weather forecast before your trip. Even a relatively mild passing storm can have wind gusts that are enough to taco your awning, which is what happened here. I don't usually do video, but I wanted to share this with you. I am at the southern tip of Cape Lookout. I don't know if you can see this, but according to the satellite imagery, I'm not even on land. See, there we are, down at the very southern tip. Very cool, and it's such a beautiful place. But this is where the ocean meets the sound, and you can see there's sandbars and stuff you can walk out on carefully. It's just really peaceful and really cool that you can drive out here. We're going way back to 2017 for this one, but Gila National Forest in New Mexico was one of my first experiences with deep backcountry adventure. I wasn't going to stop yet, but opportunity campsite right here. So awesome. I recall this campsite fondly because I spent the previous 40 years of my life mostly on the east coast of the US, so I wasn't used to seeing terrain so diverse and colorful. Gila's grassy with conifers, canyons, cattle, some mice, and I was excited to call it home for the night. Decided to have something a little fancy this morning. Scrambled eggs. In a room with a view. Well, more or less. I'm digging the awning room so far. No complaints. So, I'm pretty sure that there's a critter inside the Jeep. It's 5 a.m. on Monday morning. I'm up top, and whatever it is, it's small. It snuck in last night, probably as I was packing up, and hid. But I hear shuffling coming from inside the Jeep below the floor. I saw it just now go by over there. I don't know if it's living in the Jeep or what, but I can't find any traces of it, except where it was into small garbage bag. I don't have any exposed food, so that's not a problem. I just, I don't know. I'd feel better if I knew it was gone. I never did find that mouse, so I'm pretty sure it took its leave. The site featured a stone fire ring beneath a rocky outcropping, and it was a perfect place to unwind for the night. The moment that I found this beautiful dispersed campsite next to a lake in Oregon's Deschutes National Forest, I knew I was home. Lakeside. I might just never leave until I run out of bug spray. The water really was too cold for a swim, but after spending weeks on the road without a shower, it was pretty refreshing. I love this moss. Kind of looks like the trees were underwater, like seaweed. My bug spray worked for a little bit, but it wore off again. This is extremely peaceful. The steam rising off the lake in the morning was a sight to behold, and it was a perfect opportunity to take the kayak out for a float. When Burning Man isn't in session, the Black Rock Desert Playa offers a camping experience of peace and surreal solitude in a vast landscape of nothingness. Good morning. It's Tuesday morning on the playa. The sun is out and the air is calm. I could stay in bed all day. But no. There is adventure to be had and coffee to be made. This is a really cool camp setting. When you're alone and you find a remote place just in the center, no problem with dust whatsoever. But like the pictures I've seen of Burning Man, if this is a high traffic area, then this hard crust will get all churned up and it becomes very dusty. I'm out for a hike. According to my map, there's a hot spring a little less than 4 miles away. And yeah, 4 miles is more than I feel like walking in one direction, but you know, sense of adventure. The playa is now 1 Mylar balloon cleaner. And hopefully that was the only Mylar balloon out here. I knew in advance that this large pool was a soaking hot spring, but I didn't dare test the water in this source. Didn't want it to be like that one scene in Dante's Peak. This feels so good. 4 miles, worth it. The temperature is perfect. The bottom is muddy, like this really soft gray mud. It is so dramatic out here right now. As long as it only looks dramatic and isn't actually dramatic, because a gust of wind could end my grilled cheese program that I've got going on right now. Vancouver Island is located just off the coast in Canada's southwestern corner. Honestly, I was in a hurry when I passed through here last en route to Juneau, Alaska to intercept my son Cole at the airport. So I didn't experience as much of the island as I wanted, but the backcountry campsites that I did find were excellent. This track passed through a dense corridor of ferns and moss, and then it emerged from the woods to this stream bed. There were a couple of fire rings along the shore showing that this was an established campsite, and it was the perfect place to spend the night next to a beautiful and secluded stream. This is a perfect campsite. Such an awesome place to call home for the night. This is exactly the type of thing that I was hoping for. And I didn't even drive that deep into Vancouver Island. Mostly all logging roads, but every now and then a two-track would branch off into the woods. I followed one of them and it led me to this. It's eerie in the woods. When a breeze blows through, the trees softly rustle and they clatter, almost as if they're talking. But I also found the mosquitoes, and I think I'm gonna call it a night, so back to the Jeep. HYDER is a small town in southern Alaska with a population of less than 100. It's only accessible via Stort, British Columbia, or perhaps by seaplane. But if you venture into the mountains around HYDER, you'll be treated to some of the most amazing scenery you've ever experienced. There's a road down there. It looks like it goes to the base of the glacier. Might be able to find a place to camp. No. This whole flat area seems to be an old mining site. This will work nicely. I'm glad that I didn't find a campsite up on the mountain because this is better protected from the elements, not the mosquitoes. And I certainly have a fantastic view of the glacier. Camping at the foot of a glacier was a serious bucket list item that will not soon be forgotten. Winter was hot on my heels as I was traveling south through the Canadian Rockies a couple years ago. I was looking for a place to spend the night when I found this well-traveled track that terminated on the banks of the Saskatchewan River. It's Tuesday night, I think, and I found a camp cut. It's beautiful. It's right on the Saskatchewan, and a beautiful campsite right on the shore of the Saskatchewan River. Unfortunately, I was just staying for one night to get some shut-eye and would continue driving in the morning. But the Canadian Rockies, oh man, a picture is worth 1,000 words. I can't wait to go back. Sometimes you don't have to venture so far into the backcountry to find special places. Sometimes they're right off the highway, like this campground in Humboldt Redwood State Park. It's Saturday night, January 19th. I'm at Burlington Campground in Humboldt Redwood State Park. I was driving south out of Ferndale today, and I started following the Avenue of the Giants, which is just a paved route through the redwood trees, and the trees are absolutely monstrous. Then I passed this campground, and I just had to pull in here and get a campsite. It's $35 a night, but I love it here. The trees are absolutely amazing, and it's worth it. It's Monday morning. My stay amongst the redwoods has been a rainy one, but I'm about to venture outside. It's been very mild, close to 60 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm gonna see about some coffee. Yes, it was rainy, but temperatures were mild, and I honestly don't think I've ever been in a place so beautifully atmospheric. Monongahela National Forest in West Virginia is one of my favorite places to explore. Since I'm originally from southeastern Pennsylvania, this place is relatively close to home. It features amazing backcountry camping, waterfalls, and four-wheel drive tracks shrouded in mountain laurel. There are burritos at Hellbender Burrito in the nearby town of Davis. There's coffee at Tip Top in Thomas, and there's also live music at the Purple Fiddle in Thomas. This campfire isn't having it. Everything here is soaked. Apparently it rained a whole lot. It's Wednesday morning in Prescott Valley, Arizona, and the front end of the Jeep feels wonderful. The position of the steering wheel corresponds almost perfectly with the direction that the Jeep is going, which is a new experience for me, and I love it. But I'm heading eastbound into the wilderness for the night. Prescott is hunkering down for snow accumulation on Thursday and Friday. So the next couple days is going to be survival mode for me. I'm going to try to make the best of it. While Prescott National Forest in central Arizona is lovely, what was most memorable about this camping experience was the snow event. Once the snow started falling, it was touch and go there for a while. There wasn't much to do except make the best of it, hunker down, and enjoy the beautiful winter scenery. I wasn't the only one at the campground. There were a couple other people in a van and an RV that were also enduring the storm. I was there for a few days waiting for the snow to melt, not because I didn't think the Jeep could make it, but because I wasn't absolutely sure that the Jeep would be able to make it. Eventually, a couple big dogs came blazing through the camp snow wheeling, and they gave me a solid set of tracks to follow back to the road. At least try to reclaim my picnic table. Big Bend Ranch State Park neighbors Big Bend National Park in the southwestern corner of Texas. Both destinations feature a rugged desert landscape that's both very wild and very remote. This region is one of my very favorite destinations because of how far it seems from everything. For all intents and purposes, Big Bend Ranch State Park is a fee campground where all of the designated campsites are miles apart. A lot of the sites feature shelters, picnic tables, and it offers a world-class primitive camping experience in the Texas desert. Tuesday morning, scrambled eggs for breakfast. I think after breakfast and coffee, I'm going to set off on foot and do some exploring. I was looking at Gaia GPS, and there are a lot of interesting trails and terrain around here. Yes, Big Bend is hot and dry, but it's also very much full of life. With a little perseverance, you can find a small stream, a waterfall, or even lush hanging gardens like these. On occasion, a storm might pass through the desert at night. While this one did cause me to stir, it was a pleasure listening to the rainfall on the roof of the camper. It just lulled me right back to sleep. I spent the better part of 2019 exploring Atlantic Canada. My travels took me up through New England, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, Newfoundland, Labrador, Quebec, Ontario, and back into Michigan. One of the most memorable stops along the way was the charming town of Twillingate, which occupies a peninsula on Newfoundland's northern coast. I'm on the coast north of Twillingate, where I popped the camper among other RVs and campers, except I nabbed a spot on that hill up there, and it's exquisite. I'm walking around trying to get video footage, but I don't know where to begin. Do I start over there? Do I go over there? How about up there? There's a lot of hiking trails all around, and this is just a phenomenal place to spend the night. Twillingate is located along Iceberg Alley, which makes it a very popular destination for spotting towering icebergs that are known to float by in spring and early summer. We spent a lot of time in Colorado's San Juan Mountains over the past couple of years, and it was hard to highlight only one camping experience because the whole region is breathtaking. The tracks are gnarly, the sky is clear, and the mountains are profoundly colorful. This one experience came to mind where I was exploring around the Alpine Loop, and I discovered this high elevation alpine lake that wasn't on my GPS. It was another one of those places that was so beautiful I just had to call it home for the night. Make no mistake, as beautiful as it is not an ideal place to camp. It's warmer at lower elevations. At lower elevations you have trees, you have barriers from the elements, particularly the wind. I checked the weather forecast and the wind is supposed to die down around 8 or 9 p.m., so I'm going to get a good night's sleep. But every now and then it's worth suffering the wind and inclement weather to camp at a place that looks like this. Those burgers at 12,000 feet look delicious. If you want to know my recipe for a good cheeseburger, it's ground beef, cheese, bread, and if you want, ketchup. There's a reason why Moab, Utah is popular. It's because everywhere you go, there are views like this. This is my 4th visit to the area, and this spot right here, this ridiculously photogenic campsite perched on a cliff overlooking Mineral Canyon, reminds me why I fell in love with it in the first place. Moab is one place, of all places, where you don't need a guidebook. Although it's still very important to have a map, you don't need to go to Moab and run the popular named trails. Just wander. You could spend a lifetime there and not see everything. You'll always find new tracks to go down, new hiking trails, perhaps discover a campsite, or a new overlook to call your own. I'm gonna go ahead and give that a pull. I am absolutely sleeping with the windows open tonight. Hopefully the air will stay calm and I won't get too cold, but when I stir tomorrow morning, the first thing I want to see is the canyon in the morning light. Greater Yellowstone is generally the natural area beyond Yellowstone National Park in every direction, and in my opinion, it is one of the most underrated areas to explore. This is fantastic. I really lucked out tonight. Probably one of my very best campsites ever, I'm serious. At least top 5. There's a primitive stone fire ring, there's towering cliffs all around me, and I'm parked right up against a crystal clear river. This is a phenomenal spot. It's 6 p.m. and the sun just went down behind the mountains, so I'm gonna have shade for the rest of the night. I imagine it's gonna cool off fairly quickly. The good news is my pasta's almost ready, which is a good thing because I'm famished. All I had today was that cinnamon Chex. There's nothing quite like sitting next to a picturesque river with a heaping mound of spaghetti. Do yourself a favor and go to Wyoming. Make sure you have a map on your GPS that shows public land and just explore random roads and tracks in Wyoming. In doing so, you will definitely find jaw-dropping and otherworldly landscapes that look like they belong in a national park. I think Wyoming might be one of the states that features the most best-kept secrets, like this extremely impressive hoodoo-filled recreation area that I found to the northeast. Before I left Lander last weekend, I picked up a new cap because my other black one, my MaxTrax cap, was getting really manky. And this is cool. It's got a picture of a Unimog on it. I can wear this baby into Target or Olive Garden. Perfection. It's simple, but it is delicious. This is one of my more recent adventures from just this past year. When you think of the Grand Canyon, you might think of the usual overlooks, like the visitor center to the south, or the more popular spots along the North Rim. Well, if you look at the Grand Canyon on a topo map, you'll see that there's a lot of rim. While most of the canyon is encompassed by the national park, there are portions of it that are just as beautiful that are located on forest land or BLM land. But if you go, expect to drive 200 miles or more through the backcountry, so tell people where you're at and go prepared. This'll do nicely. This campsite is a good find, and the light really is this golden right now. I'm not messing with the white balance on the camera or anything. It's the setting sun at 6:15 p.m. reflecting off of the storm clouds to the east. I went ahead and temporarily closed the camper and relocated downstairs in the Jeep. I was going to hang out outside, make something for dinner, sleep with my windows open, which might still happen when the storm passes. But this is the unfun part, just sitting in the back of a car. What an extraordinary place to spend the night. The view is amazing. It's around 6:30 a.m., a little bit chilly, maybe in the upper 50s, lower 60s, and I just watched the sunrise over the Grand Canyon. It does not get much better than this. Wow, the memories. This episode is like a time capsule. I hope you enjoyed this look back at some of my fondest camping experiences. Just a reminder, my GPS data is available to Patreon subscribers. Thank you, Patreon subscribers, for your support. As usual, thanks for watching, and I'll catch up with you all next week.